Hey everybody, welcome. It's Adam here, and as always, we have another Former Athlete Society video. And I am super excited to get into this one because instead of our usual Q&A, I want to speak directly to something that came up recently in our community. A message that really kind of stuck with me, something that a community member here in the Former Athlete Society shared. And she ended up saying, I forced myself to be disciplined for years and clawed my way back to playing several times. This is exhausting. Or something about that. She might have used some more colorful language, but that for me really hit. It's raw, it's real, and it's something a lot of former athletes feel than they ever really even admit, right? There's some vulnerability to admitting that, to saying that. And I know a lot of us that have struggled through our athletic playing days and this transition certainly feel that. So today, instead of discussing just random questions that our community members have submitted or even live, I wanted to talk about just that burnout from being disciplined, not burnout from the job or the grind or from training or anything like that, but from the identity of being the one who always shows up, right? That wears on a lot of people. The one who never folds, the one who holds the line. I want to specifically talk about that. So let's unpack that a little bit. What happens when that version of discipline becomes a weight instead of a support system, right? That discipline, it often serves us so well when we're athletes and when we're in our college days. But transitioning into your playing days or into your professional days, that's heavy, and that's a heavy thing to bear. So I want to kind of dive in a little bit deeper to this, right? There's this phrase that often gets tossed around a lot, right? And you hear Jocko talk about it. Discipline equals freedom. Discipline equals freedom. It's everywhere, right? From Jocko clips to fitness Instagram. And look, I get the intent. It's supposed to mean that, being consistent now, you earn the autonomy later, right? But for a lot of former athletes, that phrase can, quite frankly, backfire for us. So why? Because we already did that for years. For years and years and years, we've lived under tight schedules, maybe even food restrictions, early lifts, film sessions, travel, curfews. We've earned that freedom. And yet, now, when we've got more say over our day, we're still trapped in that mindset. That discipline is the only way to feel worthy. We start to believe, if I'm not crushing it, then I'm failing. If I don't force structure, for some reason, I'll unravel. And that's when discipline really becomes a leash and not a tool. So the idea here isn't that discipline is bad. It's that it can stop serving you if you never update how you use it. So I want to talk about how we can swap grit for systems. So let me say this plainly. Grit is overrated when you don't have to prove anything anymore. In my professional capacity, I don't have to have a lot of grit in what I do, in my job, in my work. It's not that grit is useless. It's just not the best long-term strategy. Think about how many times back in the day you got through training or rehab purely on grit, on anger, on revenge, on proving somebody wrong. That's fire, and that's usually good, but it's not a long-term strategy. So if you're relying on that, now that you're in your 30s or 40s or beyond, it's like trying to run a marathon on fumes. You know what works better? Systems. Things like planning your training into your work calendar, right? Setting up a routine that's predictable, that's repeatable, that you can understand 24 hours out. It's like keeping a recurring grocery list on your cell phone. It might look like meal prepping 2 proteins in Tupperwares on a Sunday night instead of 6 full meals. It might look like logging your workouts, not for Instagram, not for that clout, but to track what you actually did and what works for you now. So systems often remove the decision fatigue that leads to burnout. You don't need to end up just white knuckling your way through every day if you've gotten structure doing the heavy lifting for you, right? So setting up that routine, setting up the systems, oftentimes is better than trying to grit through things. Here's something I think a lot of high performers often struggle with. If it's not hard, it must not be working. And that couldn't be further from the truth. That mindset is the exact reason why so many of us feel so damn tired all the time. Look, it's okay to make things easier. Not less effective, just easier to execute. Who wouldn't want to do that? So here's what I think that actually, in realistic, simplistic form, looks like. Instead of 5 days of lifting, go 3 full body sessions. Hit what matters to you. Leave the gym feeling accomplished, like you did something. Instead of tracking your macros obsessively, just end up eating the same 3 to 4 breakfasts or lunch during the week, and adjust your dinner based on your hunger or your activity levels. Instead of doing workouts that remind you of your playing days, do ones that support your life now, your joints, your sleep, your stress, but maybe even more importantly, your sort of interests. Maybe you played volleyball in college and now you're more interested in golf. Go chase that endeavor. Don't worry about trying to recreate your volleyball glory days. So making things easier doesn't mean lowering the bar. It actually means raising your standards for sustainability. And I think it's important to understand that earning it versus supporting yourself looks very, very different. And for you, this next part might actually hit close to home. A lot of us only know how to train or eat well when it feels like we're earning something. Like there's something attached to doing it. Like it's a goal, it's a means to an end. To earn the spot, to earn the respect, to earn the identity, to earn the weekend, to earn the playing time. But you know what? You don't need to earn basic self-care. You're doing this for yourself. You're doing this for you. Training isn't a punishment. It's support. It's a gift. It's like food, right? You nourish your body with training. You nourish your body with food. So there's a huge mental shift that happens when you stop viewing workouts and nutrition as things you owe because you let yourself go, and actually start seeing them as tools that support your future, that assist with the nourishment of your body and your soul and your mind. It's like making regular deposits into an account that gives you energy, presence, and resilience. And sometimes the best things that you can do is deposit less, but more often. So being consistent with yourself and then reframing how you view what you do in that basic self-care. Now, I kind of want to land this here. There's a difference between healthy discipline and punishing discipline. Healthy discipline feels like support. It creates momentum, it builds confidence, it sets you up for long-term success. Punishing discipline feels like control, like fear, like if you stop, you lose something. And if you've ever been on the punishing side for years, it makes sense why you would probably feel exhausted. That kind of discipline doesn't ever recharge anyone. It simply empties the tank faster. So here's what I think is important for you to remember, or for anybody that's listening this to remember. You're allowed to adapt. You're allowed to simplify. You're allowed to make space for your effort to feel good again. And that not every day needs to be some macho comeback story. Some days can just be consistent and simple and quiet and chug away at making that sustainable long-term goal towards success. That's still discipline. And it might even be a better version of discipline than what you maybe thought of or what you had during your playing days. Now, I appreciate your being here, and hopefully maybe some of this connected with you. Maybe it did, maybe it didn't, maybe it landed, maybe it didn't, maybe I missed the mark. But I'd love to hear how you're approaching discipline right now. or how you've even struggled with discipline right now. Because I think it's important to talk about these things and have a conversation in greater detail. So if you shared one way or another, right, I'd love you to drop it in the comments below. As always, I appreciate you guys from the bottom of my heart. I built this Former Athlete Society to really try to support this community, these types of questions, these types of struggles and vulnerabilities, because I think it's an important conversation to have and to help sort of transition that gap between your playing days to your professional days. Because if anything I can say is that this transition, this gap, is really, really challenging. So I applaud you being here. I applaud you asking questions. I commend you for speaking up and sharing these things. And if any of this resonated with you, let me know in the comments. And until next time, stay strong. Keep training, right? It doesn't have to look like the same training that you did during your college days. And keep moving forward towards whatever you might define success. I'll see you guys next video.